What's going on, everybody? I'm just inviting a couple of people right now. Last time I shared it was some buy-sell trades through groups, so give me a second. Power thoughts. Mothers against custody, yes. Stop child abuse. Ethics. I really believe that there is a solution. I was asked today by two people, actually, two of my friends, is there a solution? What's all this protest for? What are we really trying to do here? All right, what are we, what are we trying to tell everybody? And we being people who have been hurt. And that's everybody. There's not one person that has not been hurt. When we find people who we say we love and you cause pain to them, is that excusable? Any type of pain. I'm trying to get people to understand that the pain that we give to people, if you're ugly, if you say something mean, if you discipline your children, if you give pain and you know that that is pain, my question is, what are you telling the people around you? You're not teaching pain to your friends or your bosses. So who's teaching them? The people that's close to them. When I say friends, I'm talking about, the people that you know of, your associates. You're not teaching pain to them. I'm telling you, our spouses, our mothers, our fathers, our children, we're hurting them. And you don't have to. It's a continuous cycle. When we discipline, not everybody does that. Before I go on what I think the solution is, I want you to know why and where I'm coming from. We talked about all the abuse that I went through. That stuff I cannot control. I can't control those who hurt me in my youth, especially when I'm being taught that's okay. No matter how I grew up, right? I grew up in foster care. I got adopted. That time frame was really ugly. And then I started making my own decisions. I went and left my mother and father's house. Then I started making decisions as a man, what I thought in my view was a man. And these views are coming from what everybody else is saying to me of what a man is. And so if I wore white, my dad would say that I was a faggot. Real men don't wear white. He would say that. And I'm sitting here, young, he's my adoptive father. And this is not to add discredit because I still saw him as my father. But I realized I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who was raised in that environment. And so that means I'm not the only one who thinks the way I think. But there it is, that because I did something, there was an attack on my psyche by view to what you see from what you were taught. This is how we hurt our children. Instead of them discovering who they really are, we take our views and our perceptions from what we were taught. This is not to say that everything we say and everything we see is wrong. I just wish that people would take their time and see why that other person feels the way they feel before passing judgment, before calling names and making jokes and being petty or those underlining little comments or the snide remarks, before any of that, because that might be the most important thing to that person. The hurt toe concept, I literally call it a hurt toe concept. You wake up in the morning, you bang your toe, and you keep walking. But just because your friend banged their toe doesn't mean they're going to deal with that pain the same way you dealt with it. And so in return, we say, oh, toughen up. You all right. Ain't nothing wrong with you. And they're like, all right, cool, whatever. But it really hurts. You be fine. Come on. We got to go. They put their socks on, put their shoe on, they, get to work or whatever. And they're like, man, my toe really hurts, man. My toe really hurts. Man, you be fine. Dang, it takes some Advil. And they get home and they take their socks and shoes off and they see that it's purple. And then all of a sudden the other person's like, oh, wow, I'm sorry. Your toe is that bad. And it's, I told you. But you never took the time to see why he felt the way he felt. And if you did, you might have been able to offer proper guidance. Every single person we speak to is a chance for us to be better. Every single person we meet is a chance for us to be better. We're in the streets. I see the looting. I've seen, my buddies send me videos and stuff, and I'm watching some of these different things, and I'm just like, what are we doing? Remember the story where I went to go tell my foster mother, what was happening to me. And her reaction was violent. And people were commenting like, yeah, our children and all this stuff. But what did you teach me? What are we teaching our children? I'm not sitting here telling you that you're never going to have a fight. I'm not sitting here telling you that you're never going to be upset. But if I get upset, I literally come in here and I meditate. I sit down and I think about what's going on. Or you can run your car through the building. You can take a gun and go hurt somebody. These are your choices. People love to say, can't nobody make me do nothing. So let's make an imaginary world and pretend that everybody who's watching right now understands 100% that every single person you hurt is by your choice. Well, what about the other person who's trying to hurt me, right? How do you deal with those people? They don't believe in your views. They don't understand your concept. They don't want to abide by anything you say to your world, and they want to take it by force. Learn how to start protecting who you are. It's not too late. The way we protect ourselves is from old methods on what we were told to do. Hit them back. It never ends well, does it? It might sound cliche for Tai Chi or karate. All these things were not to be a defense. Were not to attack people. It was to be a defense from those who were hurting people, to protect people. And so you find these resources, then you find these things, and you have your religions, and you have your gods, and you have the people that you say is important to you, and you find ways to protect them. But violence shouldn't be an option. And so we have to start internally. If every single person was watching this, nobody wants to be hurt. And when I say hurt, I'm talking about the things that they find enjoyable, the things that they find protective. There's not a person in this world who doesn't have desires, whether it's to breathe and eat dinner tonight, to being a billionaire on some top of cool private island, and anything and everything in between. Not everybody wants the same thing, so everybody can have what it is they want. Those people who are trying to hurt you, learn how to protect yourself in as many possible fashions. But learn the art of communicating. I'm going to tell you why. If you can get somebody that you're talking to on any platform, in business, in your marriage, with your children, and you get them to understand that they're causing conflict within themselves because they're not able to express their desires of what it is they want. What do you want? Child, I want a cookie. Why? Why? You can't have one. Well, why? I want my cookie now. Take the time out and express to that child why they can't have that cookie. If it's because you just said so, and that's your only reason, then it's you need to start asking yourself questions. Because then you're no different than that other person. I want to take your life, but I don't want my life taken. And why do you want to take my life? Because I said so. Flip it around. Understand that when there's conflict within yourself, you search for peace. Learn how to help others find their peace. Learn how to help others see that turmoil. That officer, it's not because of his color. We are hurting ourselves. And it's almost as if the concept is, dad comes or mom comes home and mom had a bad day at work and, the boss said this to her and the boss said that to her. And then she comes home to the children and the children went up to her, get out my face. I don't feel like this shit. Get out my face. The children didn't do anything. They wanted your love. They wanted your presence. They rushed to you to bring them whatever it is that they desire from you because they didn't ask to be here. You didn't ask to be here. But now you have the ability to make choices, to do things, to be a better person. Find that conflict within yourself and search for peace. You find peace, you give what you have. And what you have is peace, so you offer it to others. We can protest all day long, but if you're not one doing it in a peaceful fashion, use your common sense. Somebody said, are you going to go down there? I said, no. People are not thinking. People are not being cognitive of their actions, and their sons watching, and their daughters are watching. And I say use love first and say that's not enough. You ain't used nothing else. Right? Like you're not trying. We're not trying. The frustration that comes from understanding that people are purposely making their own decisions is when I realize all the people I hurt. Right? Of every single person in my life that I caused harm to, I purposely did that. And I'm sorry. If I've ever hurt you, I am sorry. And I said this in the last video, 100% accountability on this one. I cannot wait to meet you again. I will never hurt you. I will never be mean. I will never be unkind. I know how to be these things because it's what I also desire. Those people who are constantly trying to attack you, you surround yourself with people who are there to protect you. You can identify dangers by feelings only. Once again, children, understand that concept with a child. If your child is in your arms and you pass your child to whoever and that child starts freaking out and the child cannot speak 3, 4, 5 months, you don't leave that child there. You bring your baby back. If you are one of those parents and leave your child there, then you're the same mother. You're the same father. When your child comes to you and said, Uncle touched me, cousin touched me. I've heard some crazy stories, y'all. And I've lived those lives. And you don't believe them. What are you teaching your daughter? What are you teaching your son when they get into a conflict in a relationship? Now they're grown and they have the same situation. But they're family. That's my mom. That's my dad. That's my husband. That's my son. I don't care. My daughter is grown. I told her, baby, I will talk to you as you're grown. You're not a child anymore. And I don't speak to my children as if they're just children. I speak to them because knowledge is not privileged by age. I say this to them because there are people out there that's trying to hurt our babies and they don't know how to deal with it. We're too busy hurting them when we can teach them, Help them, educate them, teach them how to protect their brothers, teach them how to protect their sisters, teach them how to protect their neighbors. And we don't do that. For whatever reason, we feel like we have to control everything. We feel like we have to take ownership of everything. And now everybody, well, it's not enough for everybody. It's all mine. It's all mine. You can't have any. Share abundantly. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Learn how to build. Find people around you that wants to build so you can give more. You start incrementally, and in time, you will change everything. Our children right now, let's just imagine that they start using love first. You don't have to respond with things and angrily. If they're frustrated, they sit down, they think about their actions. Is there something I can do to hold myself accountable for my actions, regardless of the age? If you do this, this is going to hurt. Do you want to hurt little boy? Do you want to hurt little girl? Do you want to hurt so-and-so? No, I don't want to hurt them. I don't like the way it feels. So what can we do to not hurt them? Challenge people. Push them. But we're so rushed. We're so quick to rush to hurting people. To detain. I wish a motherfucker would. For what? Yes, yay, you defeated the assailant. That's somebody's father. Somebody loves that guy. You don't have to agree with that. Somebody loves that man. Just like people love you. And so now everybody's hurting. It doesn't stop. You see the continuation. It doesn't stop. It never stops. But there is a way. Start teaching people to remain calm. I had to remain calm. If this gets too explicit for you, get ready to remove yourself. My sexual abuse, for me, they would come in the midst of the night. But it wasn't just me. They would rotate through children. What do? These are grown men. Grown women touching us, performing sexual acts on us, making us do things. You pretend, if you've never been through that your son just told you that. Your daughter just told you that. Your mother. They just told you these things. What do? Let's go kill him. Yes. Okay, and it happens again. And again. And again. That person you killed had people that they love. Oh, I can't believe such and such would do that. Oh, they're wrong. But there's the evidence. Is that justifiable action? No. I reference the Bible where they say no sin is greater than the other. That has been beaten to my head for as long as I can remember. Why do we allow those who hurt us in any fashion when we can teach it where it doesn't have to be dealt with? Mommy, such and such happened. How do I deal with this? We got the movies, we got the books, we got enough experience, we got enough knowledge. There's nothing new underneath the sun, right? So the answer's here. But it's us, and we've always been here, but we continuously give that answer up. We don't even try it. After I left for the Marine Corps, I got married. And the things that I did as a man, what I thought was correct, I made a lot of mistakes. And me and my ex-wife now, we're great friends. We're great friends. And I hear my friends dealing with just their husbands, just their wives, and how they treat them, how they respond to them, how they talk to them, how they listen to them. No intentions of having growth. Literally using them. I tell people that when you come into my life, you don't have to worry about using me. I am going to cater to you. I will. You do not have to ask about it. For my friends who's been here, I will cook for you. I will laugh. We'll joke. We'll do all types of stuff. We'll have fun. But we won't even do that to our neighbors, our friends. And we're having problems doing it to our own children. I was a single father. I still am a single father, but it was just me and my youngest son, or my child number 3, right? And I got him. He was 9 months. Whoo! And I was a recruiter. I was in Florida. Man, shout out to all the women who've done that and the gentlemen who's experienced it. Like, there's nobody to be like, hey, can you take him? I got to go to work in the morning. There was none of that. And so every issue I had to deal with hands-on. Was I supposed to whoop him because he was hungry? Right? And I know men who've done this to their children. Yell at them because the child desires something. We go to people we trust because of how they help us reach our desires. And so the more and the more that happens, the closer and closer we feel towards that person. And so that's why it hurts when somebody does something to us that we don't like. Like, you're the person that's supposedly trying to help me meet my desires, but yet and still here we are. And so when I learned from that experience, he was with me about 9 months, right? So he had his first birthday and everything. So I got to see, it was a very beautiful moment, right? He was walking and I had to figure out how to stay in shape and, right, it's recruiting. Like, I didn't want to be no, fat guy or whatever. And, all these other different stuff. And I was in college and I was trying to balance this and, money was getting tight. And I was really just trying to figure things out. And violence wasn't the answer. Being upset wasn't the answer. I had to remain calm, and I found a way, and it got easier. And that was the crazy part. It got easier. No matter what I've dealt with in my life, no matter what, it's gotten easier. During my first marriage, the decisions that I've made in trying to be what I thought was a good person or a good man or a good husband or a good whatever was based off of what other people were teaching me. And so my beginning education was a little bit rough. It was just a tad bit rough. So I didn't have that nurturing mother that many of y'all are. I didn't have that nurturing father that many of y'all are. All right. And so the lady who took care of me, she was born post-slavery. And so I was raised by a very, 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 very old Black woman. And so my methods to doing things was different. And so I did everything in the house, right? All these children, she didn't clean nothing. And so like those little things kind of stuck to me. She was abusive. She believed in rearing a child. And I do not. I'm telling you, I have 5 and do not hit my children. And there was a time I did. And I'll get to that later. But after a while, I started to realize that all the action that I was giving towards my children's mother, the lack of patience I was applying to my fellow soldiers, my friends, my children themselves, like the frustration that they constantly saw me with. And here I am trying my best to be this good guy, trying to please everybody without taking care of myself. Ooh. And then I saw a pattern. Every time I got divorced or left a relationship, I was by myself. And I got down on my low, I got depressed, right? I was down by myself. And then all of a sudden I started building myself back up. And how did I build myself back up? I started doing things that I like. Now this pattern had repeated itself a couple of times. And then the last time it happened, there it was again. I was just like, God dang, everybody keeps telling me I'm a good guy and all this other stuff. And right, and making my, feel like I'm, how come I couldn't hold on to anyone, right? And I was beating myself up. I have a lot of mentors in my life that has helped me with certain thought processes, right? Some of those dark times. And it's allowed me to sit and really see who I've turned myself to be. And I was torn. I was torn by the world because I could mimic everything you wanted me to do. I never had a chance to say, no, I don't want to do that. I grew up abused. And so this abuse allowed me to never say anything, speak when spoken to. So I never got asked anything. I was a child. Because I was raised by the type of woman that I was raised by, I learned how to cater to others, right? There's a lot of my friends who have never even ironed their own shirts. And I think it's hilarious. And then I was like, well, why not? I was like, well, I had somebody do it for me. Well, who irons your shirts? Like me. Washing and iron at 8. And then there's some people who have that story and there's some people who don't. And then there it is, those different experiences. And so these things are they attach to you as adults. these beginning desires, that odd behavior. You're not sure why you do these things. It's because of how you see the world from what was done to you. Not everybody's going to squint when they taste the lemon. To some people, it's sweet. But we look at that person as a weirdo. We ostracize that person because of differences. We call ourselves mature. Come together for things that allows protections and growth, right? That uniformity. That's one of the reasons why the military works. That's why singing together works. But we all can't talk. We all are going to have the same experiences. And so if we try to talk, there's never going to be any unity. Somebody's going to have to try to out-talk the other person, or somebody feel like what the person is saying is not enough. And hang in there. Check this out. All you want to be is heard. I'm willing to listen to everybody just to see if there's a way to make your world better. I stated that I don't believe in, I was going through a lot with religion. I don't believe in God. And then when I arrived to what it is that I have now, I saw that they're all real. Every single one. These are people who have said to be at some point in time here on earth. And divine power and things of that nature, but there was something that they had. They weren't violent. The people who write these books and all these different ideas and concepts and all this other stuff, let's just pretend they're not there. The books are not there. But these stories are there because of people are speaking about it. And so at some point in time, there was a sight towards it or a thought for it. If you had to create this yourself on how you could be a better person, what would you do? If everybody was watching this, your answer would be along the lines of not hurting yourself. If you don't hurt yourself, you're not going to hurt people. But you hurt yourself by settling. And I saw that by accident because of that abuse that I endured from 5 to 17 or from 5 to 19. All I did was please other people. Never had any of my pleasures. A simple one. I've been starved. My adoptive parents have starved us. Locked in the garage. Because we didn't clean a house that Saturday morning. And they probably thought it was okay. But yet he's the same one who would tell me all these other different hateful things. It's confusing to me. It was very confusing to me that the person who's raising me, taking care of me, is purposely hurting me. But he tells me how ugly the world is through racism. And we constantly do that. We constantly do that to each other. Why are we not talking about this in our own homes? If we could take our time and see every single person that's hurt from all of these incidents, all the way for war, it's nothing more than a difference to views. And no one's taking the time out to say, hey, well, let's research this. Let's break this down. I don't care. That's not what I asked you. That's not how I feel. But does that give you the right to hurt me? No. Once again, if that doesn't make sense, then use your own child. These people that are hurting us, yes, we need order fast. And you're trying to find out what's the range towards it. It's you. Stop lying. Stop hiding. Be so vulnerable. Be so open that all you give is love. Why? Because that person who hurts you, you don't have to question if they love you. See, I was born, but I only been with my mother for a few years. And I felt like she loved me. Around 21, I found out I was born on angel dust. If any of your friends right now are pregnant, right? And they have a child tomorrow, or whatever, and you find out they were born on drugs, like some really, right? Would you feel as a person that that person who had that child was a good mom? Let's skip the examples of being forced drugs. We're not talking about the force. We're talking about the decisions that that person had to make. This is not a talk or an attack towards my mother. I don't know her. But in my mind, I always was coming home to her. The average person would say that she was a bad person. Wasn't a good mother. Here I am. Just me. All the abuse. From what my mother has done, to being in foster care, to being adopted. And then realizing the decisions I made as an adult were on my own accord. If you're hurting somebody, you want to hurt them. If that person tells you this hurts, have the decency to see why. Have the decency to take your time and see if you can be helpful or kind to them as you wish to have for yourself. I said that the old language is body language. And I thought, is there anything more than that? Because children can't talk. Children operates off, the feelings and vibes, but that comes from, a lot of different things. But when a child's inside of that mother, that child feels so many different things of that mother, from heartbeat and the blood racing and all this other cool stuff, right? And as the child grows, right, they learn how to get used to their mother more. Now, of course, we're talking about perfect world. There's some complications. Stick with me on this one. But when that child exits the world, that complication is that the person that they cared about the most is no longer with them. You are not going to remember that right now. And if you are one of those cool people, that's pretty dope. But that child remembers it. So my point is, you know what love is. You were born with it. The child ends up having to settle because the child cannot go back inside the mother. And so we create the womb, we wrap the child up, we give it its nutrients, whatever the case may be. And now the child is feeling better. That's who we are now. We're just older. And so if somebody took you from somebody you loved, truly loved, it would hurt. You would cry, you would scream, you would reach out. But now we have the ability to speak, to communicate effectively, to let the people know that who we love and how we love them and why we love them. I offer all my love to every single person watching this video. Understand that I never, ever, I can love you as deep as I love the last person I said I love. How much I show you is the difference. What I show you is your validity towards the truth of my words, actions. I put a post up and I said that our thoughts are our friends. Our actions are confirmation to the type of friends we have. Think about that. Every single time you speak to a person, you offer any type of air towards them, know that it is your ability to change them, not who they are. Your perception or their perception to you, but only you can do that. And so that gives them inspiration. Like, oh, I didn't know that about you. My daughter found out that I like to do stamps and write letters and stuff. And she thought it was the coolest thing. She goes, Dad, I didn't know that about you. I was like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I enjoy baking. My ex-wife taught me how to bake. I make cakes and tears and fondant and all types of cool stuff. But people don't know that about me. Start asking your spouse, your lovers, your partners, your children, what it is that they like to do and invest in that. This concept is ran across the board. I'm telling you, you can use it to business. You can use it to dogs, plants. I don't care. Understand the making and why things are happening. Start loving yourself 100%. If you don't like something about yourself, you don't beat the other person up. If somebody's being mean to you, nasty, not respectful to your world, to your views and how you deal with things, it's no more than that concept of playing music in the middle of a yard, and people who love your melody, they come close to you. People who don't, they go away. But how ugly is it for the person who doesn't like your melody to throw rocks at you, to shoot you? That's not color. That's not height. That's not race. That is taught. We are teaching people how to be ugly. You can teach people how to accept differences. If they don't like something, choose something else. It really is that simple, all the way to the top. All the way to, we're asking for prayers. We're asking for help. We're asking for saviors. We are here. We are the saviors. If you believe that he existed on earth at some point in time, any person that you worship, any God that you say was real in your view, who am I to tell you that that's not the case? But we constantly do that to other religion. We constantly do that to other people. Well, you can't be here because of, you pick a reason. Then why can't you be here? Because I'm these things. Is everybody like you? Does everybody have as many hair follicles? As many teeth? Is the background the same? Are your parents the same? Is your mother the same? Nobody has anything that's the same. Not one person. We're all born differently. If we can get people to accept just those small differences, you'll have a bond with every single person you talk to. Every single time. I can love you no matter your actions. Prince EA had put a video up, and I haven't watched the new one. I don't know if y'all know who he is. Put a video up of a mother who adopted the killer of her son. Because she understood something, that little boy that killed her son was never taught how to love, was never given that ability to love. And so she saw a chance. As he was walking and the judge had sentenced him, she goes, "I'm going to kill you." And it shook the boy. And the entire time he was in jail, she visited him. Yep, true story. Visited him. Sought him through, got ready. She got him a job and everything. And towards the end of the video, she goes to him and says, "I would like to adopt you." That's hard, right? She adopted the son. And so here we are. That type of love is existing in this world. I'm just hoping that we're able to use that type of love before we lose any more children. Better yet, before we lose our own. She's not the only one. There are many of y'all out there. I think it's all of us. I said I sat in my darkness for so long that I now understand the meaning of enlightenment. It means in the light. So all I see is the darkness of others. So I only offer my light. You get to choose if you accept it or not. I can't force you, nor will I ever. And so if you say, "No, I don't want that," I am not going to keep, I'm going to go about my business. If you call, text, knock on the door, whatever. It's never to feel like I don't want you in my life. It's never to feel like that person doesn't need you. It's never to feel that way. You respect their views. And that's how you end up growing and have those long-term friends. Because you learn how to respect their views no matter what. And if you needed to get closer, you got closer. Some friends become lovers. And lovers become husband and wife. And husband and wife become business partners. Business partners become, right? And the list goes on and on and on. But just because it goes up doesn't mean that those relationships cannot be stepped down. So if something doesn't work in a relationship, that don't mean you need to burn the entire thing. You still have the ability to make your choices, no matter how ugly a person is. So all the people that have hurt me, I forgive them for who I am. They don't have to. And so now I want to be a better person. I don't have to forgive anymore. I get it. You can do the same. They don't have to accept that. They don't have to accept your love. So stop trying to put that on them. But there are people who will rush to your love like you rushing to your child's desires. The solution is you. Man in the mirror. We can't hold other people accountable for their actions if we're not willing to see that we're still hurting the ones we say we love. Those silent battles, those I can't believes, those is he, is she, I wonder why, all that. Those silent battles, and you need to be able to express who you are without feeling ridiculed to your wording. If you sit down and accept their actions and it doesn't make you feel good, then that's settling. But if you stand against their actions, that's you standing for what it is you believe in. We keep teaching people how to respect people's views. No matter when you stand, you will always be received. You will always be received. You never, ever have to hurt a person. And I know that's hard for a lot of people. Somebody challenged me, what if they raped your daughter? Not gonna lie, y'all, that's a hard one. And so I teach all I can so that she doesn't have to end up in those situations. I cannot predict the action of anybody jumping through my window hurting me. I would try to do all I can to avert that person, to defend my family. And if in my actions I try to help and show that, hey, this is not what you want, right? Yes. I would take a man's life, but not because I want to. My attempt is to save him. If I have to disarm or disarm him just for that amount of time. Because it's not fair that he gets to choose who lives and who dies. And I'm not trying to kill him. I'm trying to protect. And so I teach myself things. I take these classes. I find methods to protect myself. I use things to feel my safety. For my mother, for my father, for my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my nieces, my nephews, my children, my grandchildren. I don't have any. I'm just saying. Like, think that far. So I want to be loving towards everybody. That's your power. That's your right. That's your strength. So I'm not worried about the guy jumping in here or the girl. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about how people are receiving how I'm treating them. That's important to me. My actions. Not the actions of others, my actions. I'm not going to challenge you and test you about your actions if my actions are impure. My intentions are bad. And I'm sitting here lying to you, playing you, hiding. You'll never find happiness. You will always, oh my gosh, you will always be unhappy. And the worst part is that the person in front of you is willing to accept you at your best, but you're afraid to be you. I've been able to navigate people in relationships from polyamorous through divorces, through strained marriages, through separation of their own child. I'm telling you that there is an answer to all of it. If you believe in your religion, if you believe how I grew up to believe in the Bible itself, it has to be here. Because if we're all waiting to just die to go to heaven, to see peace, we'll be waiting for a long time. The answer is within us. Shine that light. That's your love. The darkness is what's around you, from mother to father, and everybody closer to you. Darkness doesn't mean bad. There's something about it that you don't understand, so shine a light so that you can understand it. And when you see what it is you're dealing with, you don't have to be afraid of who you are. Then you remember who you are. Then you use your light and you help others. It takes time. It does. But there are people who reached back to me and told me how it affected their life. I have a friend in Korea who said something about him finally getting his degree. It's not that I am doing these things. It's I start to realize that everybody has a desire to be pleased. Take your time. Find the people who care about your desires, whether it's how you like your water, to how many children you want, to the type of relationship you want, to where you want to take your trip. Do you want to go to school? Do you, whatever the case may be, find those who's rushing to your desires, investing into you. Please. For now, every time you get ready to say something, ask yourself, is that the kindest thing you can say? Don't tell me that that's not what they deserve. Because what happens to the day when someone tells you that's not what you deserve? If you have any questions, please let me know. Always use love first, hashtag use love first. You can look this up in any single platform. I'm telling you. All right, I'm trying to start a movement where we realize that our actions and staying calm and being kind is the true strength. It's how our children become better children. It's how our friends become better friends. You'll never get anywhere with having that type of hate. I don't care how good whatever it is about that relationship you think it is. The purity being loving is the key, right? I'm trying to see which platform is better to use right now. It looks like Facebook is easier and better to use. So I'll be doing some more videos, if not nightly, at least every other night. All right. This is not to be a political. I know there are other groups that's watching out there. This is to utilize a solution to everything across the board. Right? Our health, our mindset, the way we live, the way we treat each other, the way we run business, the way we treat animals, if you know, your craft, what it is that you're doing. You can be passionate and expose yourself to such a level that people would rush and jump for your joys. Right? Please stick with that. Please stick in that positive mindset. Right? And then we'll talk about other different fashions on how I deal with what I deal with now to maintain the relationships that I have in people's lives, on top of how I used to deal with them. And I'm not gonna lie. Whew, all right? Big bad wolf, I'm a man, You're wasting your time. I don't believe that a true king or a true queen is willing to hurt the people they say that they love inside of their own kingdom. Your home. Or whatever you feel like you're responsible for. All right? I love you all right? I plan on showing it more often as well. All right? Have a good night. Talk to you later. Peace.